Hello everyone. So today I am back with another story of God honoring Joseph the slave. So once upon a time there was a man. He was a youth and his name was Joseph. He was one among the 12 sons of Jacob his father. Now while Joseph was 20, his brothers betrayed him and sold him to Egypt because he was his father's favorite son. And Joseph was wrongly placed in prison by his former master Potiphar. In prison, Joseph was obedient and helpful. The warden trusted Joseph to organize prison life. Because God was with Joseph, prison became a better place for everyone who were in prison. The king's baker and butler were in jail. "Why so sad?" Joseph asked them one day. "No one can show us what our dreams mean," the troubled man replied. "God can," Joseph said. "Tell me your dreams. Let me see if I can interpret it." After the men told their dreams, Joseph replied, "Your dream means that in 3 days you will be back in King Pharaoh's favor." Joseph told this to the butler. "Remember me and ask Pharaoh to free me." The baker's dream held bad news. "You will die in 3 days," Joseph said. And both the dreams came true. But the butler forgot about Joseph until Pharaoh woke up troubled one day. "I've had a dream," the Pharaoh cried out. None of his wise men could show him its meaning. Then the butler remembered Joseph in prison. He told Pharaoh about Joseph. Pharaoh sent for Joseph immediately. After Pharaoh explaining his dream, "Your dream is a message from God," Joseph told the king in reply. "Egypt will have 7 years of plenty, then 7 years of awful famine. Plan now to store food during these 7 good years," Joseph advised Pharaoh, "or else your people will starve to death in famine." "God is with you," Pharaoh declared. "Now onwards, you will take charge in Egypt." He said that to Joseph. 7 years of plenty happiness came. Then 7 years of famine. Food was scarce everywhere, except in Egypt, where they had wisely stored huge supplies. In Joseph's far-off homeland, Jacob's family was starving. People from all countries went to Egypt to buy grain. "You must go too," Jacob commanded his sons, "or else we will starve to death," continued Jacob. After arriving in Egypt, the sons prepared to buy food. Jacob's sons bowed low before the lordly person in charge of Egypt. And who was in charge? Yes, Their brother Joseph was in charge, but they did not recognize Joseph, their brother. But Joseph knew them. Joseph remembered his boyhood dreams. God had raised him above his brothers. Joseph was very wise. He spoke roughly and kept his brother Simon hostage. Take food, go home, and return with your youngest brother, he ordered. Then I will know you're not spies, continued Joseph. The brothers went, thinking that God might be punishing them for selling their brother Joseph as a slave many years before. Jacob and his sons were confused. Our money was returned in the grain, and the rulers said we must bring Benjamin. Jacob would not let Benjamin go. But soon the food was used up. The brothers had to go back to Egypt. Benjamin too went with them. When Joseph saw Benjamin, he ordered his servants to prepare a great feast. The brothers were invited too. Is your father alive and well? Joseph asked. Perhaps he was thinking of how he could bring the whole family together. Joseph also wanted to know if his brothers were really sorry for their sins of many years before. After the banquet, he accused them for stealing. To punish you, I will keep Benjamin as my slave, Joseph said. My lord, take my life instead, begged Judah. Joseph knew that Judah, who had suggested selling Joseph, was truly changed. No longer able to hide his love for his family, Joseph sent all the Egyptians out. Then he began to weep. I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt, Joseph said. Amazed and afraid, the brothers said nothing. Joseph encouraged his brothers. God made me in charge of Egypt, so I could save your lives in this famine. Go, bring our father. I will look after you all. Jacob and Joseph were reunited later in Egypt, and the whole family lived there in peace and plenty. So did you all like the story? Hope you all enjoyed the story. Bye-bye.